I left the construction site early that Thursday afternoon, feeling good about wrapping up the downtown project 2 days ahead of schedule. The spring sun felt warm on my face as I drove home, thinking about surprising Jessica with flowers and maybe cooking her favorite pasta dish. Our wedding was 6 weeks away, invitations already sent, venue secured, everything falling perfectly into place. I pulled into our driveway and saw Derek's truck parked out front. My younger brother's beat-up Ford looked out of place on a weekday afternoon. Something cold twisted in my stomach as I turned off the engine. Before I tell you what I saw when I opened that door, let me know where you are watching from, and if you have ever felt that gut feeling that something was terribly wrong. Hit that like button and subscribe because this story gets darker than I ever imagined. I grabbed my keys and walked to the front door, trying to shake off the uneasy feeling creeping up my spine. The house was quiet when I stepped inside. Too quiet. Then I heard it. Laughter. Soft, intimate laughter coming from upstairs, from my bedroom. My heart started pounding as I moved toward the staircase, each step feeling heavier than the last. The door to our bedroom was cracked open just enough. I pushed it wider and froze. Jessica and Derek were in my bed. Our bed. The bed I had picked out with her 8 months ago when we moved into this house together. Time seemed to stop. I could not breathe. I could not think. I just stood there watching two people I loved more than anyone destroy everything I believed in. Derek saw me first. His eyes went wide with panic. He scrambled to grab his jeans from the floor. Jessica pulled the blanket up to cover herself, her face going pale as she realized I was standing in the doorway. Nobody spoke for what felt like hours, but was probably only seconds. The silence was suffocating. Finally, I found my voice. It came out steady, calm, almost frighteningly so. "How long?" I asked. Just those 2 words. Jessica started crying immediately, mascara running down her cheeks. "It just happened." She sobbed. "This is the first time." I did not believe her. I turned to Derek, my little brother, the kid I taught to ride a bike, the guy I helped move into his first apartment, the same person who asked me for $5,000 2 months ago to buy that truck sitting in my driveway. How many times I repeated. Derek could not look at me. He stared at the floor, pulling his shirt over his head. "A few months," he finally whispered. I felt the room spin. A few months? I did the math quickly. A few months meant this started around the time I was traveling to Boston for 3 weeks on that hospital construction project. The project where I worked 16-hour days because I wanted to make senior project manager. The promotion that would help us afford the wedding Jessica wanted. The wedding we were planning together while she was sleeping with my brother. Jessica reached toward me. "Please, Nicholas, let me explain. I love you." This was a mistake. Her voice sounded distant, like it was coming from underwater. I looked at her. Really looked at her. This woman I had proposed to on a beach in California. The woman who cried happy tears when I got down on one knee. The woman who spent hours picking out wedding flowers and arguing with me about whether we needed a photo booth at the reception. "I loved you," I said. Past tense. She flinched like I had hit her. Derek finally found the courage to speak. "Bro, I am sorry. We did not mean for this to happen." The word bro made me want to break something. I felt rage building in my chest, but I kept it controlled, kept my voice level. "Pack your things," I told Jessica. "Get out of my house." She started pleading words, tumbling out desperately. "Wait, please, I need to tell you something. I am pregnant." Everything stopped. I stared at her. "How far along?" 10 weeks, she whispered. 10 weeks, I counted back. 10 weeks ago I was in Boston, working, calling her every night, telling her I missed her, while she was here, with Derek. Is it mine? The question tasted like poison in my mouth. Jessica went silent. That silence told me everything I needed to know. Derek stepped forward. "Bro, I am sorry. We did not mean for this to happen." There was that word again. Bro. Brother. like we still had that bond, like he had not just destroyed my entire life. I felt sick, actually physically sick. I turned and ran to the bathroom, barely making it before I threw up. I could hear them whispering in the bedroom, probably trying to figure out what to say next, probably planning their next move. I splashed cold water on my face and looked in the mirror. The man staring back at me looked like a stranger. That evening, my phone rang. Mom. I let it go to voicemail. She called again, and again. Finally, I answered. Nicholas, she said, her voice tight with tension. Derek told us everything. We need to talk as a family. I told her I had nothing to say. She insisted. Please, come to the house tomorrow. Your father wants to talk to you. I should have said no. But some part of me, some stupid hopeful part, thought maybe my family would be on my side. Maybe they would be as angry as I was. Maybe they would help me through this. I was wrong. The next day, I walked into my childhood home and immediately knew I had made a mistake. Everyone was there. Mom, Dad, my older sister Amanda, Derek, and Jessica. They were all sitting in the living room like this was some kind of intervention. I stood in the doorway looking at their faces. Nobody looked angry except me. Derek sat on the couch looking guilty but somehow also defensive. Jessica sat next to him, tissues clutched in her hand, eyes red from crying. This felt wrong. Everything about this felt wrong. Sit down, son, my father said. His name is Richard, and he is a man who believes in order, structure, family hierarchy. I stayed standing. He frowned but continued. I know you are hurt, but Derek is your brother. Blood. Family. Those words felt like weapons. I looked at my mother, Margaret, hoping for some understanding. She nodded along with my father. Family comes first, Nicholas. Always. We raised you to know that. I could not believe what I was hearing. They betrayed me. I said, my voice getting louder. For months. In my house, in my bed, while I was working to build a future. My sister Amanda, always the peacemaker, leaned forward. I understand you are angry, but Jessica is pregnant. That baby is family too. We need to think about what is best for the child. I laughed, actually laughed, a harsh, bitter sound. We do not even know if it is mine, I said. Jessica spoke up, her voice small. It could be yours, Nicholas. We need to do a DNA test. Then we will know. Derek nodded. Bro, whatever happens, we can work this out. I turned on him. Stop calling me that. I'm not your bro. You do not get to call me that anymore. My mother gasped like I had said something horrible. Nicholas, she scolded. He made a mistake. People make mistakes. You cannot just throw away family. I stared at her. A mistake, I repeated. A mistake is forgetting someone's birthday. A mistake is being late to dinner. This was not a mistake. This was a choice. Choices. Plural. For months. My father stood up. You are being selfish, he said. Think about the baby. An innocent child. You cannot just walk away from this situation. I felt like I was losing my mind. Selfish. I am being selfish. Are you hearing yourselves? Amanda tried again. The wedding is in 6 weeks, Nicholas. Everything is paid for. The venue, the caterer, the band. You cannot just cancel everything now. Think about the deposits. Think about the guests. Think about how this looks. How this looks. That is what she cared about. Appearances. Not me. Not my pain. Not the fact that my fiancé and my brother had been lying to my face for months. Just how it would look to cancel a wedding. My mother presented their solution. We think you should postpone the wedding. Not cancel. Postpone. Do the DNA test. If the baby is yours, you and Jessica can work through this. People overcome affairs all the time. Counseling helps. If the baby is Derek's, well, then Derek will step up and be a father. But you still need to forgive them, Nicholas. Holding grudges only hurts you. I looked around the room at these people. My family. The people who were supposed to protect me, support me, love me. and all I saw were strangers making excuses for the inexcusable. "What about what they did to me?" I asked quietly. "Does anyone here care about that? Does anyone want to know how I feel?" My father waved his hand dismissively. "Of course we care. But feelings pass. Family is forever. You will get over this hurt. But you cannot get over losing your family." My mother nodded enthusiastically. "Forgiveness is strength, Nicholas, not weakness. Choosing to forgive shows character. It shows maturity." I felt completely alone. Alone in a room full of people who shared my blood but did not seem to share my values. Nobody asked how I was doing. Nobody acknowledged the betrayal. Nobody seemed to think that maybe I deserved better than this. I looked at Derek. He would not meet my eyes. I looked at Jessica. She was crying again, but those tears felt manipulative now. Everything felt manipulative. This whole meeting was designed to pressure me into making them all comfortable again, to absolve their guilt, to let them move on without consequences. I left without another word, drove home in silence, sat in my empty house and realized I could not stay here. Too many memories, too many ghosts. Every room reminded me of Jessica, of the life we were supposed to build together. The life that was based on lies. A week later, Jessica texted me. They could do a non-invasive prenatal paternity test. Simple blood draw. Results in 5 days. I agreed to do it. Part of me hoped the baby was mine, which I know sounds crazy. But if it was mine, at least that would mean something was real. At least one thing in this nightmare would not be a complete lie. I went to the clinic, gave my blood sample, and waited. Those 5 days were torture. My family called constantly. Mom, Dad, Amanda, even Derek. All of them pushing the same narrative. Family forgives. Family stays together. No matter what the DNA test shows, we need to move past this. Derek actually showed up at my construction site on the 4th day. I was reviewing blueprints when I saw his truck pull up. My crew noticed the tension immediately and gave us space. "Bro," he started. I cut him off. "Do not call me that." He looked hurt. Actual hurt on his face, like he had any right to feel wounded. "No matter what the test says, you are still my brother," he said. I stared at him. "You slept with my fiancée," I said slowly, making sure he heard every word. "For months. In my house, in my bed, while I was working, while I was planning a future with her, while I trusted both of you." He shuffled his feet. "I know. I'm sorry. But Mom is right. Family forgives. And we are family." That is when I realized something. Derek was not actually sorry for what he did. He was sorry he got caught. He was sorry there were consequences. He wanted forgiveness so he could stop feeling guilty, so he could move on with Jessica and their baby without the weight of what he had done hanging over them. This was not about making amends. This was about making himself comfortable again. The DNA results came back on day 5. I opened the email alone in my office. Probability of paternity 0%. The baby was not mine. I sat there staring at the screen, feeling a strange mix of relief and devastation. Relief that I was not tied to Jessica forever through a child. Devastation that even the pregnancy was not mine. Nothing about our relationship had been real in the end. I called my mother, told her the results. I expected her to be sympathetic, to finally see my side. Instead, she said, "Well, at least now we know. Derek will step up. He will be a good father." "That is it?" I asked. "That is all you have to say to me?" She sighed. "Nicholas, what do you want me to say? This does not change the fact that you need to handle this maturely. Derek is going to be a father now. He needs family support. My father got on the phone. You can still forgive them, son. They are going through a lot right now. You are strong. You will find someone else. But Derek needs us now. He's going to be a father. He needs his family." I hung up. Actually hung up on my parents for the first time in my life. My phone rang again. Amanda, I answered. You can still forgive them, she started. I interrupted. What about what I am going through? Does anyone care about that? She was quiet for a moment. Then, you are strong. Nicholas, you have always been the strong one. Derek has always needed more help, more support. You understand that, right? You have always been able to handle things on your own. I understood perfectly. I was the strong one, so I did not deserve comfort. I was the capable one, so I did not need support. My pain did not matter because I could handle it. Their guilt mattered more than my heartbreak. Jessica called me that night, crying. I'm so sorry, Nicholas. I never meant to hurt you. Your family wants us to work things out. They think we can still be friends. Maybe in time you could even forgive us. Get to know the baby. Be an uncle. My family, I said slowly. My family does not get to decide my life. There was silence on the line. Then she said something that made my blood run cold. They said they would help us pay for the wedding. Our wedding. Mine and Derek's. And they want you to be there. I hung up and immediately got a call from my mother. Nicholas, we need to talk. One more time. As a family. Please. Against my better judgment, I agreed to meet them one last time. I needed to say what I had to say to their faces. I needed them to hear me. Really hear me. I drove to my parents' house the next morning, knowing this would be the last time I walked through that door. They were all waiting. Mom, Dad, Amanda, Derek, and Jessica. The whole family. Everyone except me, apparently. My mother started talking before I even sat down. Derek and Jessica have decided to be together. For the baby. They want to do the right thing. I nodded. Good for them. My father leaned forward. We want you to be the bigger person here. Forgive them. Show them grace. Be at the wedding. Their wedding? I asked. Yes, Amanda said brightly, like this was good news. They want to get married before the baby comes. A small ceremony. Just family. And they really hope you will be there, to show there are no hard feelings, to show that family is more important than pride. Derek finally spoke. Bro, I know I messed up, but I love her. And I love you. You are my brother. Nothing changes that. I looked around the room, at my mother's expectant face, at my father's stern expression, at Amanda's hopeful smile, at Derek's guilty but somehow entitled posture, at Jessica's tears. Everyone wanted something from me. Forgiveness, absolution, permission to move on without guilt, permission to be happy while I suffered. Nobody wanted to acknowledge what they had done to me. Nobody wanted to sit with the discomfort of knowing they had chosen sides and it was not mine. Mom spoke again. Nicholas, please. Do this for the family. For the baby. That baby deserves to have everyone together. The baby deserves uncles and aunts who get along. You cannot let your pride destroy this child's chance at a happy family. For the baby. Those 3 words. Like this innocent child justified everything. Like I was supposed to swallow my pain and humiliation so a baby who was not even mine could have a comfortable family dynamic. That was the moment. The moment I knew. These people would always choose Derek. They would always make excuses. They would always ask me to be the bigger person because I was strong enough to handle it. They would never stand up for me, never defend me, never put my needs first, because in their eyes I did not need them. I could take care of myself. I always had. I stood up. The room went quiet. I am done, I said. My voice was calm, steady, cold. I am done with all of this. My mother looked confused. What do you mean? I mean I'm walking away. From Derek, from Jessica, and from all of you. My father's face turned red. You cannot be serious. You are going to throw away your entire family over this? I looked at him. You chose Derek. You chose his happiness over mine. You made it very clear where I stand in this family. I am just accepting the reality you have shown me. Amanda stood up. "Nicholas, we are your family. We love you. This is just a hard situation." "No," I said. "Family does not ask you to forgive betrayal so they can feel comfortable. Family does not choose sides when someone gets hurt. You made your choice. Now I am making mine." I walked toward the door. My mother called after me. "You will regret this. You cannot just cut off your family. You will be alone." I stopped and turned around one last time. Better alone than surrounded by people who do not respect me, who do not value me, who see my pain as an inconvenience to their happiness. I left, got in my car, drove away from that house and everything it represented. The next day, I blocked every single one of their phone numbers. Mom, Dad, Amanda, Derek, Jessica. All of them. I called the wedding venue and canceled everything. Lost some deposits, but got most of the money back. I called my boss and asked about transferring to our Portland office. He was surprised, but supportive. Said there was an opening for a senior project manager there. I could start in a month. I put my house on the market, packed up my life, started over. The first 3 months in Portland were hard. Really hard. I was lonely. I questioned myself constantly. Maybe I was being too harsh. Maybe I should have tried to forgive them. Maybe I was throwing away my family over pride. But then I would remember. Remember the look on their faces when they told me to forgive. Remember how nobody asked if I was okay. Remember how they cared more about a baby that was not mine than they did about me. And I knew I made the right choice. I started seeing a therapist. Dr. Sarah Chen helped me understand that I had not lost my family. I had escaped a toxic dynamic where my needs never mattered, where I was always expected to sacrifice for others but never allowed to ask for support in return. She helped me see that walking away was not weakness. It was self-respect. It was choosing myself for the first time in my life. I made new friends in Portland, co-workers who became genuine friends, a hiking group I joined where I met people who shared my love of the outdoors, a running club that got me back in shape and gave me a community. I started doing photography again, something I had given up, because Jessica always said it was a waste of time and money. I discovered I was actually good at it. Joined a local photography club and started entering amateur competitions. 6 months after I left, I got an email at my work address. My mother had figured out I worked for the same company and found my professional email online. The email said Derek and Jessica had gotten married. They had a baby boy. Named him Richard, after my father. She said Derek asked about me all the time, that he missed me, that the whole family did. She said they hoped I would reconsider and come home for Christmas, be part of the baby's life. Let bygones be bygones. I read the email once, then deleted it. I did not reply. There was nothing to say. They had made their choices. I had made mine. I heard my mother sent more emails over the next few months. My assistant mentioned someone kept calling, asking for me. I told her to block the number, to delete the emails without showing them to me. I was done. Completely done. A year after everything fell apart, I found myself in a completely different life. I had been promoted to senior project manager. I was leading a team on a major hospital renovation downtown. I had a solid group of friends who actually cared about me, who asked how I was doing, who showed up when I needed them. I started casually dating a woman named Sarah from my photography club. Nothing serious yet, but it felt easy, natural, honest. She did not play games. She communicated. She respected boundaries. Everything Jessica never was. I thought about my old life sometimes. Wondered if Derek ever felt guilty, if Jessica ever regretted her choices, if my parents ever questioned whether they did the right thing. But mostly, I did not think about them at all. They were strangers to me now. People I used to know. People who showed me exactly who they were when it mattered most. And I believed them. The biggest lesson I learned through all of this is that family is not defined by blood. It is defined by respect, by loyalty, by people who stand beside you when things get hard instead of asking you to make yourself smaller so they feel better. The people who truly loved me would never have asked me to forgive the unforgivable just to keep the peace. They would never have chosen my betrayer over me. They would never have made my pain about their comfort. I learned that forgiveness is not a requirement. People love to say you have to forgive to move on, that holding grudges only hurts you. But that is not true. What hurts is forcing yourself to maintain relationships with people who hurt you. What hurts is pretending everything is fine when it is not. What hurts is sacrificing your self-respect to make others comfortable. Real healing came when I stopped trying to force forgiveness and started focusing on building a life I was proud of. My family wanted me to forgive Derek and Jessica for the baby, for family unity, for keeping up appearances, for their comfort. Never for me. Never because I deserved peace and closure, just so they could all move forward without guilt. Walking away was the hardest thing I ever did. It was also the bravest, the most self-respecting, the most honest. I do not regret it, not for a second. I am free now, free from people who did not value me, free from a dynamic where I always had to be the strong one, the understanding one, the forgiving one, free to build relationships with people who actually care, who actually show up, who actually respect me. And that freedom is worth more than any blood connection could ever be. Sometimes the family you need is not the one you were born into. It is the one you build. And sometimes walking away from people who hurt you is not giving up. It is choosing yourself. And that is the bravest thing you can ever do. Have you ever had to walk away from family because they chose someone else over you? Have you ever been told to forgive something unforgivable? Share your story in the comments below. I would love to hear how you handled it. If this story resonated with you, please hit that like button and subscribe to this channel for more real-life stories about choosing yourself and finding strength in difficult situations. Share this video with anyone who might need to hear that it is okay to put yourself first. Thank you for listening to my story. I hope it reminds you that you deserve respect, loyalty, and love from the people in your life. And if they cannot give you that, you have every right to walk away. Take care of yourselves out there. You are worth it.